Hey YouTube, I've got a interesting one for you today because I really want to be showing off Chorus, the new effect from BLEASS. But showing off just effects doesn't really seem to fit the format of this Let's Play series, so I need an excuse. And Phosphor 3 is a really good excuse because I haven't done a video for this yet, and since it's additive synthesis, we're going to be able to create really interesting and rich textures to throw into Chorus. So it is additive synthesis. We've got a whole bunch of these partials that are right here, and each one of them is adding a sine wave. So you see we've got a sine wave on the oscilloscope. Oh my god, this video is what the oscilloscope was made for, because as we add in more, you see how it changes the shape of things. So if we remove this one, it's kind of screwing up because the fundamental frequency now is screwed up. Let me see here. Okay, so each one of these partials is a sine wave, all right? That's the main thing I want to get across here. It doesn't matter which one it is, they're all sine waves. And this first one is the fundamental. It's whatever note you've hit. And the next one over is a sine wave that's one octave up from that. And then the next one over is an octave up from that. So we get all kinds of different shapes by shaping this. Like, theoretically, with enough partials, you could create any sound because that's all it takes to make sounds. It's like a whole bunch of different sine waves coming together to form entirely new wave shapes. Now, fortunately, this has these presets here, so you can get a saw, triangle. It's not a very good looking triangle. And square. And you can, tweak to taste from there. And if you're feeling lucky, you can hit the random thing and you get all kinds of weird stuff. That's actually a pretty good weird stuff. I'm going to keep that one going. And we've got two different oscillators here that are both doing the same exact thing here. But we can actually modulate them in all kinds of different and interesting ways. But the most interesting way to do this is with the cross mod, which is like FM, basically. It's like FM with feedback, kind of. So if I take this first one out now, and we'll just listen to the second one. Once again, we just got a regular sine. As I bring in this cross mod, whatever's going on this first one is going to modulate the oscillator on the second one, which is just the sine. Okay, so watch the sine go crazy as I slightly increase this. And because it is FM, any difference in the pitch of the two is going to be a noticeable thing. So as I bring this down, that's just one step right there, one note. And the same as with the fine here. So you get all kinds of great textures here by taking what is essentially just a boring sine and adding whatever the whatever this is. So we can also play around with this. Whoops, with the envelopes. So the way that the cross mod is situated in the signal chain, any kind of changes you make in the envelope for one will occur, like even though we're not listening to this oscillator because we got the level down, whatever changes we make in the envelope will occur throughout the cross mod FMing. So let's add a long attack here. And that's just with a sine. So let's make this a little bit more interesting here. Let's try to go for a squarish thing here. And you can hear how that attack here, it makes it a kind of a slow build up there. Like here we're in instant crazy, but with a nice attack. And you can use the sustain to like decide how much crazy you want to stick with. Don't quite like the way this sounds as is. Let's try to tweak this a bit. We can increase the number of partials in this and do all kinds of other weird things. I'm trying to decide what order I want to show you this because it's going to get increasingly weird. I guess before I get too weird with it, let me show you a really interesting feature in here. The oscillator and the noise have these vintage buttons. So this is what it sounds like right now. I turned off the cross mod. So this is what oscillator 2, which is like our squarish thing, sounds like normally. But if you hit this, it becomes like a you can hear the sample rate and bit depth changing on that. It's like a bit crusher that's finely tuned to specifically work well here. It's supposed to sound like I forget, some sort of vintage synth that this was originally based on, but it is a really good bit crusher effect. It's not too annoying or cheesy. And the noise has a similar one here. So like here's a bunch of noise, but with the noise vintage mode on, it's sounds very video gamey. And it gets crazier down at the low end. So the vintage button is something that is fun to turn on every once in a while just to hear what's going on. Like let's bring back in the cross mod so that we're hearing that FM. Let me raise the octaves on this here. Right, so we got a very nice sound there. I'm going to increase this decay a bit. And now turning on the vintage button. Whoa, that's a bit intense. That's amusing, but not what I'm going for here. I really like what we have here is just kind of like a basic sort of patch here that I think is going to be a good place for me to continue to show you some of the other features in here. So we can modulate everything. Every single thing, like except for the partials themselves, you can change through modulation. Just every single thing has a modulation thing that you bring up, and you can modulate it with two LFOs, the velocity or the pitch bend. So like watch the transpose here. See, we get a little animation that's showing how that's working because right now pitch bend is set up like that. We can do other interesting and weird things like let's bring in that first oscillator. Before I show you the thing that I'm about to show you, I wanted to also show that you get insane results if you cross mod both, because you're modulating one and now the other one is being modulated by the one that's being modulated. It goes into this weird feedback loop. It's crazy. Like I'm just going to do like a 0.01. I'm going to use the mouse to make sure I only get like a 0.01 on this. All right. All right. That wasn't as insane as I was expecting. Let's try a 0.02. Fuck it, let's go up to 0.1 here, because it's making a liar out of me. Alright, you're starting to hear the weirdness. Like this insane sort of things. But we can kind of do interesting stuff with this with a modulation. So let's assign modulation from LFO1 so that 0.1 was about where we started to hear the weirdness, so let's go up to 0.15 here. or 1.4. Okay, and over here, I'm going to now change this LFO rate to be, right now it's tempo synced, and it is keyboard triggered, so it resets. I'm going to change this over to a noise source here, that's this random thing here. And you can just see a little bit of that yellow line there moving around as it plays. So we get kind of a clean tone, but sometimes we get the bendy, wobbly weirdness. Like, that is a lot of weirdness, but it's in a very small, confined space of the sound, so it doesn't sound like I'm being intentionally goofy. Like, we need to bring in some delay on this. I really like how that's sounding. I want to now show off the delay crossfeed here, where you can get... Yeah, I'll just show you that. By cranking this up now, it's going to like cross feedback over to the right from the left, so whatever tone you're getting in that left is now getting spread across to the right, and you can shape that tone with this filter here. Really liking what's going on here. I want to play around with this panning. Let's try. I want to push it a bunch, but not too much, because it's going to sound really weird if it's just going back and forth too much. So let's hear how this is sounding. Shit, that's quite nice, actually. I thought I was going to have to do a lot more on that. That's perfect. That's what I was looking for. Just a little bit of motion on that first oscillator here. So remember, we got a decay into 0 sustain. So after this is held for 3 seconds here, we're not hearing this at all. So just during that 3 seconds of it zooming in and out, I want it to sound kind of nice here. Just a little bit of motion. We could try getting more weirdness into this, just to hear what that sounds like, by setting the other LFO, which is right now at a half bar. One thing I really like about these LFOs is it's got the skew thing here, where we can actually shape what the LFO looks like. So if I do something like this, it's got some movement there that's not as weird as, like, if you do this with a square, it sounds super weird because it's just jumping back and forth. But with the skew on a sine, I can find a nice shape that is modulating that in a kind of a snaky pattern here. All right, let me bring in, now that we've got a decent sounding thing here, I'm going to bring in, shit, how am I going to do this? Okay, I guess I'll bring up chorus here, move this over here, and I can play on that. Is it going to work? Yeah, all right. So, with chorus now. We can we've got 4 different delay lines in this thing and a filter here where we can try to set it up. So this is my warm string preset where I can really add some growly bass end here. And you can actually go high pass if you want to cut out all those lows. I like this filter type here. I don't want to push the Q too high, but I do want to kind of raise it a bit. Alright, that's what I was looking for. Alright, now I've got it maxed out, so if I bring this down now, and because it's a series of delay lines, we can do a car plus strong thing here. If we bring down this delay time, and I think we might have to play with the rate and the feedback here. Oh God. God, that is really nice. You can change the depth for each side. So let's see if I bring this way down. I was hoping you'd hear kind of a more noticeable. Oh, I guess the width would probably. I'm getting too into my own head here on this, but you get really, really interesting sounds out of this chorus by really playing with the tools that they provide here. And I really do love the BLEASS effects for that, because they put all of this great creativity in one little panel here for you to play with. Playing with this rate has a big impact on things like this. Sounds way different from... I really like that car plus style where you're just taking really, really tight delays together with like this 1 millisecond and the high rate. I feel like the feedback was also adding a lot to this. Let me try that again. Try to mix this. God, it's a great combination of what we made in Phosphor, which was that very sci-fi thing, but then we've also got that the strings that you get from Car Plus that makes it kind of feel like a guitar, so it's like a sci-fi guitar thing here. I was really tempted when I was planning on doing this video. I was planning on getting all kinds of crazy going on with different modulations, but I think I'm just going to call it there before I screw anything up. Like, this is amazing. I love this sound. Thank you very much to all my Patreon patrons for making these videos possible. Take it easy, folks.